My name is Laura, and today we're talking about a very unusual topic. You may be wondering, what do I mean by escape your grave? Let me share something from my life, and the reason why I'm sharing this is to help someone else. In the past, I was deeply oppressed on the inside. I had a fear, and I don't mean a low-grade worry or anxiety. I mean a paralyzing fear that gripped me at all times. It felt like an invisible force had taken me hostage and held a knife to my throat on the inside. That was fear. I also had relentless condemning thoughts running through my mind at all times, day and night. That was an oppression. I was living in a grave on the inside, in my mind and in my heart. In our modern society, there's a lot of focus on the outside, how a person looks. So at that time, if you had seen me, you would have just seen a normal-looking young girl about 21 years old. I may have been smiling or talking to someone. In other words, I may have looked like I was completely normal and doing fine. But the truth is, on the inside, I was living in a grave. I will tell you how I escaped that grave. But first, let me say that I could not fix this myself. I tried. I tried to just change my thinking to something more positive and just get rid of the negative feelings of fear, and I could not do it. It was too powerful for me. So I knew I needed divine help. Let's take a look at the most controversial book in the world, the Bible. The Bible is a complicated book, but in spite of that, one of my favorite stories is the story of Lazarus. Since not everyone is familiar with Christianity or the Bible, I'm going to paraphrase this story, but please do go read it for yourself after this video so you can hear it straight from the horse's mouth. So, in this story, we have Lazarus, who is sick and dying. His two sisters send a messenger to Jesus, the Son of God. The messenger finds Jesus and his 12 followers and tells them that Lazarus is very sick. Jesus deliberately waits 2 days before heading to Lazarus' house. When Jesus and his followers arrive at Lazarus' house, Lazarus has been dead for 4 days. His two sisters and a whole group of people are crying and mourning. Several times throughout this story, it says that Jesus felt deeply moved by their sadness. Jesus and all of the people go to Lazarus' grave. Lazarus is buried in a cave with a boulder covering the entrance. Jesus tells the people to remove the boulder. He says a prayer, thanking God, and then he calls out in a loud voice, "Lazarus, come out!" And out walks Lazarus. Jesus then says to the people, "Remove the burial rags and let him go." Now, I do believe this story literally. Lazarus was dead as 10 doornails, and Jesus brought him back to life. I think about this story a lot. How did Jesus do that? Can you imagine if Lazarus had said, I think I'm comfortable in this grave. I know it's dark and cold and there's a lot of spiders around. It's pretty miserable, but it's familiar. So let me just turn over to the other side and rearrange myself and get comfortable again. And meanwhile, Jesus is still calling, "Lazarus, come out!" See, Jesus can't heal you unless you want to be healed. Jesus is calling all Lazaruses and Lazarusettes who want to come out of their graves. Jesus brought me out of many graves on the inside, and he will do the same for you. What are some examples of a grave on the inside? Oppression of the soul, oppression of the mind, addictions, hurts from people, Toxic relationships. How do we get out of those graves? The answer is we respond to Jesus' call by surrendering in our heart. Oh, hold on, my phone's ringing. Just one second, let me get this. Hello? You're saying you tried religion and it didn't work? I very much understand. There was a long time where I couldn't find the forest for the trees. Religion is rote rules and traditions that have been handed down through the centuries. What I'm talking about is a sincere heart surrender to God, where you let go of your way and say, Jesus, here I am. I need you. You're saying you don't understand faith? Well, you are not alone. I didn't understand faith for years, but that didn't disqualify me with God. You just start where you're at. There was a time when I didn't even know if God existed, but I prayed anyway. And looking back on it now, I can see that from the very first moment I asked him for help, he was already putting his plan for me in motion. He will do the same for you. Thank you for calling. For me, it was a process, and it took a long time. But it was better to at least be on the way out of that miserable grave than to be stuck there forever. Now, you might be saying, well, I don't hear Jesus calling me. This video is Jesus calling you. He's going to be right there waiting for you. And when you come out, he's going to remove the burial rags and set you free. Jesus is real, and he has a happy ending for anybody who wants it. All you have to do is show up.